What's up guys, and welcome back to To-Do-List Minecraft. This is Jester of None and we'll be Minecrafting. Let's have a look in here at what we are doing today. Once it's opened, thank you very much. And shouldn't be much different than last week. Yep, finished the town and the creature lab, which is what we started last episode without meaning to. So let's get away from this horribly loud background music. And so I didn't even touch the town last week. I've got now in my inventory some stuff that I'd like to get a start on at least one of these places so that you can see how they'll look and how I'm hoping to set them up. So I'm gonna set them up so that they look a lot like floors, a lot like houses, a lot like the inside of houses, because, well, I mean, I just find it a lot more attractive than floors that don't look like floors, if you understand what I'm saying, which I don't always. So I'm gonna go ahead and divide up these blocks and then we'll be back when I've done that. Okay, like that. That's what I meant. So what I'm gonna do is there's gonna be a carpet level, a underfloor level. I think I can do this. Maybe I'll have to do that above. Let me just get that out. So there's gonna be a floor level, which is this wood. There's gonna be a carpet level, which is the carpet, and then underneath there is going to be some beams supporting things. Yep, it works kind of how I wanted it to. So there's no way of, or that I know of setting up the orientation of these wooden blocks. Let me just turn my music down. There we go. Much better. I can hear myself thinking. There's no way of setting up the orientation of these wooden blocks, so they will look a bit weird insofar as they've been put in what looks like the least structurally stable way. But, you know, it still works. So I'm going to put these along here, all in strips. Like if you've ever seen an old looking house, this is how they look. I'll have to fix that in a second. This is how they look. They've got their support beams running across the ceiling, making sure everything stays in the right place. And then I'm going to take obviously an amount of this out so I can put stairs in at some point. But they're all going to be roughly like this. Dragging this across here. There we go. And then these stairs go here. Like so. I don't like building with micro blocks too much because they're really, really fiddly. There we go. It doesn't so much matter what they look like up here because I'm going to cover it, like I said, with a carpet. But actually, they overlap anyway, so it looks pretty good still. Let me, I'll finish placing down, then I'll fix mistakes. It's much faster that way. Like this, and here, and here, and then here too. Great. There we go. So, you know, it doesn't work out exactly quite how I want it to because of the fact that, like I said, you can't determine the orientation of these blocks, which is bothersome because I'm sure you should be able to. But, well, anyway, this is how the interior is roughly going to look. Maybe I'll change to a different kind of wood or something like that, but it's going to be roughly like this, and then the carpet will go on the top up here, like so, just to have a bit of reality. This is why I don't like building with micro blocks, as I just mentioned, is that I'm not super patient, or not even a little bit patient, actually. And if you're not super patient with micro blocks, you end up placing all of the blocks in all of the wrong places, which you'd think might be exciting, but it's really not. I don't know why you think that would be exciting, actually. So here's probably where the stairs in this particular house are going to be, and I'm not going to do all the houses on camera, because like I said, it's a pain in the bloody bottom. So this is, so there's 2 blocks here, so this is going to be the stairs. I'll have a 2-block wide stairs, and I'm going to corner here. Great. And then this will be the stairs, roughly. They may end up going like up and then up, like in 2 stages rather than 1, because actually this is quite a high room. Now I noticed that. It's quite a high ceilinged room with a low ceiling upstairs, which is frankly a little bit odd. But, well, I'm gonna do this off camera. I just wanted to show you at least the first one on camera, and then do a little bit of falling through the holes in my floors. Which is why you should put floors in, by the way, because then you don't fall through the holes. So I'm going to build this house, I think, in its entirety with you. And then you're going to cut to something else. And by the end of the episode, hopefully, these will all be done. Or at least enough will be done that I can pretend like they're all done, then finish them in my free time off camera. No, I'm joking. I'm going to show you all. Hopefully, they'll all be done. We'll see, though. It's been quite hectic lately. Let's cover those up. Great. And this will have to remain bare, or maybe I'll make an adjustment for this situation. In fact, I should be able to just cut this here and corner a little bit later. There we go. That works. And then I'll take this all the way back, and then we have some nice working stairs. Yeah, you see, all in the wrong places. All the wrong stairs in all the wrong places. Okay, there we go. So that's a good example of what the floors in these houses are going to look like. This one stops here because it is like there's a little bit of an outside bit, and I'm going to put a door, and you know, some sort of certain specific ways to access it. And I might actually have to extend this roof along a little bit, because doesn't it? If you think about it, it's going to come out. This will be the wall for. Whoops, I shouldn't do that. This will be the wall for the outside, and I'll have to edge along here. And I guess there'll be a door here, so there's not much of a room going on. So maybe I'll have to adjust these stairs. But this is basically how all of the houses are going to be set up, or have a rough look. For example, the library might be different because it will have bookshelves. So I'll probably have actually an upstairs, but edged around like this. So instead of going all the way out here, it'll probably just come to there, and I'll put a railing on. And then that'll be the library, basically, because there'll be bookshelves in here going up probably all the way up to here, all the way up to almost the ceiling, for the sake of, you know, the idea that there's lots of books in there. So there will be some places that are slightly different, but I'll handle each building as it comes, and we'll see what we get out, because that's kind of the fun of this, is making sure each building is kind of unique in its own way, but follows a general pattern. So I'm going to continue with this, and we're going to go on next to the laboratory over there, and I'll probably actually just go straight there now, but you won't know whether I did this first or this first, because that's the magic of editing. So let me dump all this stuff, and then we'll get going. Right, off we go. I actually dumped my wings and wasn't able to fly for a second, and that was very unnerving. So the laboratory needs only a little bit of work. Well, it needs a little bit of work in terms of, it needs a lot of work in terms of structure, only a little bit of work in terms of style. So I'm really happy with what we ended up with last week, even though I wasn't planning it. I'm a very big fan of like serendipitous events like that. I'm really happy with the way this looks. We've got all these cages with all these animals in, which is again creepy. Let's move on. But I'm happy with the way it looks, apart from that I'd like some... Oh, we lost our fire beetle. That's a shame. This guy's still here though. I'd like to replace these with glass, because I want to be able to see in it what my creatures are doing. And then I'd also like to do some reorganizing at some point. So perhaps organize them by whether they're hominids, because we have some hominids here and some hominids over there. And maybe organize them by fantasy creatures, or like types of animal, like there's wolves and spiders, and there's a lot of different kind of spiders. You know, maybe put beetles with the spiders, or, you know, there's a lot of organization that can be done, and I'd like to do it. And I might do, for example, evil versions of normal animals, like the wither cow, and I guess there's probably some other ones in there, like I don't know, is there such a thing as an evil chicken? Well, next thing I want to do is dig through to here. I'm not sure what I'm going here. Maybe just another section of the laboratory, maybe a specific section. Maybe this will be where the spiders are kept. Maybe these will be bigger cages. Maybe these will be for humans. Not sure yet. Maybe different types of villagers. That might be fun. But here, I think I'm going to have a sort of like a display room where I can put some of the friendlier mobs, and also the room for generating more mobs. So I'm going to use, I can show you the auto spawner. I showed you last week, but I'll show you now as well, which is this chappy here. I'm going to use this to generate more mobs. And now we get all the stuff it needs. It needs actually essence and power. We have all that stuff already. We just need to channel it here. And we're going to use that to spawn our new mobs, and those will be used in projects later. But first we need a place to do it. So I would like the storage place, and now I'm going to get working on the mob spawning area, and also I guess the display area. There's some other stuff I want to put in there too, but for starters this will work. So I'm thinking like an ovalish room with... well, I don't know. I'm thinking at least a big circle in the middle, and we'll see after that. So I'm going to get started on these things. There's my pickaxe. I'm going to get started on these things, and then we will be back in a second. All right, here we are again after a little bit of work and a lot of pain in the arse. Let's go over here to our new, kind of finished, almost finished, but not really finished, mob area thingy-majiggy. So this is a huge room, and honestly, sometimes I don't like the squareness of Minecraft, if that is a thing. I want to do a circle. I'm not actually that, I don't do circles that often because I find them usually ineffective, and I have to agree with myself in the past that I don't like having done this as a circle. I'd much rather it was just a big block. But oh well, I've done it now, and I'm rather okay with it. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with it, and it'll do for what we want to do. So I also want to put a series of stairs going down here, because if we go in here, which is, there's a bat in here, this is going to be our little display area for creatures. And it's also maybe a little bit of a experimentation zone, and I don't know, put some nice looking creatures that are a bit rarer in here, just so that we can watch them doing their stuff. I'm thinking about some glass into different laboratories here and here. And then through here will be the actual place where we spawn mobs, and there'll be access from down the bottom over here, and from up top I'm thinking like a corridor going over a hole, which you can go down here. and here, and that'll take you to the main floor. Lighting is an issue. So I never really build big like this, so I've never had to look for a solution to lighting. Even the stuff we did in the, what was it called, the last millennium, lighting wasn't really a problem because it was big, the space was big, but I was building small still. I could only light things with, or I only needed to light things with torches. In fact, I think I didn't actually ever bother lighting anything anyway. It was just dark, but it was so dark you couldn't tell that it was dark, if that makes sense. So up here is Sky Block, which I like. It's apparently a bit processor intensive, and I have tried on one occasion to put such a large amount of skyblock, much more than this, and it did cause a lot of hassle, but it seems to be in this small amount working fine, and it kind of goes along with the aesthetic of animals trapped in this like fake environment here. I think I might make this cage a bit higher up. I was actually thinking of the game, honestly I can't think of what it's called. It's a very recent game, it might be called Inside, and the last scene where they find the big glass cage with a big blobby guy in it. This is actually what the scene I was thinking of when I was making this, but it didn't actually come out quite how I wanted it. So maybe there'll be some changes to this area. Probably not though, because it was a huge pain to do. So probably won't see some changes for a while. But I am thinking of having some, like I said, a bridge and then some descending areas, some bigger areas up here, maybe some more labs off here. And we're definitely going to have somewhere to spawn mobs, and it'll definitely connect here to the bottom. Aside from that, I actually haven't done anything else. This took so long that I haven't bothered doing anything else. I haven't gone down there, and I haven't changed out the glasses, and I haven't done any reorganizing. So I'm probably going to do that now, next up, because, well, it's a little bit more of an interesting, there's a little bit more variety than just putting blocks in a specific pattern over and over again. Although I suppose that's what that section will be if I just copy this over from here to here. So maybe I'll make this a little bit different. I'm kind of getting a little bit sick of the laboratory blocks. I kind of fell in love with them last week, and now maybe they're wearing on me a little bit. I'm also getting really annoyed by all of these noises. Like, they're really, really annoying. And if you've got some sort of phobia of bee noises, then, well, it's too late for you. I'm sorry. Okay, well, let's move on to the construction of this area and to the reorganization of these guys. And then I think I'd like to... Well, let's do that first, and then I'll think about what I'd like to do next. I'll also, in this time, I'll probably make a start on finishing this area here, because then this area is done. And then after that, I know I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but last week I didn't plan as much as I wanted to, and it ended up with me building a whole giant laboratory. So I'm trying to plan a little bit better now. I would like to equip this place with wireless power, and that's something from Ender.io. And I'll show you Ender.io's wireless lighting, which, I mean, most of you have probably already seen this stuff, but I've never actually played with Ender.io a huge amount. I just use the conduits. So I'm going to use these wireless powered lights, and they are very bright and they cover a very large distance. So I think they're the most effective way of lighting this, second only to Ganny's, what's it called? Ganny's, no, that's not it. That's it, they're floodlights, electric floodlights. I don't know why I thought they were called Ganny's something. So I may put some electric floodlights in, but they're not as appealing looking. So, well, we'll look for a solution. Maybe it'll be just to have extra layers, more layers up here, therefore more places to put lights and a smaller area to light in total. But we'll see how things go once we've put in this area here. That should help to break up the kind of vastness of this room. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I will see you in just a second. Okay, we are back. I've gone up here to give you a nice dramatic reveal because it's just a bit more appealing. We haven't finished, so I'm kind of doing like a dramatic reveal a bit too early because I'm dramatically revealing an unfinished area, which I don't think that really fits the style. But, well, here's the unfinished area. I've made steps. I'll just fly up so you can see. Steps either side. The place is infested with bats, which I hate. I'm going to go ahead and fix that at some point. There's a mob repeller thing that you can get, and I might set it up for bats. So, I've made these stairs. They're a little bit steep for my liking, and they're a little bit bothersome to walk down. Like, I feel awkward walking up and down them as if my camera is shaking too much. Fortunately, I won't be using them much because I can fly, but yeah, maybe I'll make some changes. And I wanted them to be sort of like vaguely spiraling, and I have done that. That did work out how I wanted, but I'm not sure that I'm happy with them. And to a certain extent, I'm never really happy with anything I do. So I'm gonna consider whether I want to make a change. Here, I have put in a sort of like water area. It needs to be lit on the inside because right now you can't really see in, apart from at the bottom here where it's there's lighting from the stairs, which have got glowstone on them. That's why they're lighting up. So Once I've done that, this area will be pretty done. I'm going to fill this with animals as soon as we set up the spawner, which will be in here. It's going to be a special spawning area. I'm going to do my best to make it all as automated as possible. My reasoning being that I don't want to have to get in there with possibly creepers and everything, you know. So I'm going to make it as automated as possible, like even to the extent of having the safari nets fired by, I think, automated clickers they're called, automated activators or something like that. I'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll just make a little slot for me to be able to get in. But yes, that will probably be the deal, to have it as automated as possible. And that's going to go there. The place needs to be lit and powered. And then it also needs to be populated, not just with animals, but also with workers. And I've got a couple of ideas for that too. So, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, wait. I've got to show you this too. I've just put in, well, this ethereal glass or ineffable glass. And that's just for me to be able to walk in here without any problem. It's quite useful. I might think about using it for some other projects at some point. You'd think I would... So if you hold shift, you don't go through it. You'd think I'd suffocate if I held shift inside. They should definitely make that a feature because it seems logical. Well, I hate this blobby lighting down here, and I'm going to fix that at some point when I put the lighting in and the power in for the rest of the place. But next up is the large cages that I want to make, and there's a lot of large creatures that I want to store, and that includes stuff like the mammoth from oh gosh, what's it called? Dinosaurs and Archaeology, Ancient Archaeology, something like that. The mammoth and the saber-toothed tiger, and also the heat scar spider, and a lot of all the other spiders actually are quite large, so they won't fit in normal pens. Maybe even a few dinosaurs from the Dinosaur Archaeology mod thing, whose name I can never get right. Yeah, there's a lot of things I want to put in there that are bigger than these cages. So, what about these cages? Well, I have... also, by the way, the word I said there was cages. These cages I've done only a tiny change to. I've put the boar in his own little pen with a door and glass instead. I'm not sure I like it though, because if one's door and glass, they should really all be door and glass, or there should be a special door and glass section. So maybe I'll look for an alternative solution, because I don't like having them all mismatched. But, well, for now, that's fine. And those are half slabs of thickened glass, which actually worked really well. I wasn't expecting them to look so good. So I'm happy with those. And I've done the same up here. These dangerous guys now have glass instead. So I can see them, and they can't see me. Or they can see me, but they can't hurt me. And, you know, it's just a little bit more attractive. They're all trying to get to me. I'm not going to open his door. I'm not going to open... Well, this guy I'm pretty sure I can close. Yeah. Yeah, you can't get me, can you? Well, okay. Well, these are our cages now. Heat scar spider's doing fine. This guy's doing fine. Are you aggressive even? Oh, yes you are. Okay, well, good to know. There's the beetle. We lost the fire beetle, like I said. I'm going to go back and get a new one at some point. And then, yeah, all these cages changed over, and I much prefer them. And I'll show you as well with the cages over here. Yep, there we go. These guys are all changed over. This guy had a bit of an escape attempt. I captured him, which was a hassle. And all these changed over, so now we can see what's going on here a little bit more easily. It's a little bit more attractive. I think this guy can still sting me through the glass. No, he can't. Good. Well, there you go. So, yeah, I'm much happy with how this is now. This guy still needs probably a bit... Oh, this guy... He's gone! Well, that's very frustrating, and I'm gonna... Oh, no! Don't you do that to me. That's not okay. I'm not okay with this. Okay, clearly this guy needs a specialized cage. Okay, let's go ahead and fix that. I'm not sure if there's such a thing as anti... There he is. Oh, I missed anti-teleportation technology, but I'm going to have to install it. If it... Why can't I get him now? Oh, no. Maybe I caught him by hand? Maybe I have to go up close to him? Oh, I remember now. He's lower than he looks. There you go. You know what? I don't think there's anything I can do about that. That guy must not... I just must... Oh, there's poop there. I just must not be able to put them... put that guy down. So Enderman and teleporting mobs, I'll have to think of a solution for. Maybe if he just... I can't see that... He can't see that I see him, or maybe I can surround him by water, but that wouldn't look very good. I'll think of a solution. There's something I can do, I'm sure. Well, okay, so that's it for these guys, and that's all I've really done. It took quite a while to do this. Next up, I'm going to work on the big creature storage area, and I'm thinking of having something kind of warehouse-ish. This is huge, and this is kind of small. And it'll be weird to have one small one here and one large one here, but yeah, I'm thinking that a warehouse would be a good idea. I may even expand downwards and have, at the end of here, a little walkway that goes underground into a much larger storage area. We'll see how it works out, because I'm thinking a bit more zoo-like over here, like a big pen for each one. I don't know. We'll see what I do. Not like modern zoo where they've got a lot of room. Old-fashioned zoo where they're all trapped up in cages, obviously. I'm not going to be nice to animals in this facility. It's kind of... Oh, wow, we really are infested. Wow. I'd love to do something about that. Oh, I'll just show you that this is a little trapdoor to get into the water. So I can come in here and put mobs in and take them out. Obviously, not that helpful for dangerous mobs, and maybe I'll think of a solution. Maybe put some ethereal glass on the front for the sake of quick escape. But yeah, I put these in. Oh, I also want some like sort of desky, worky looking things going on here. Some sort of laboratory-esque stuff so this area is a bit more filled in. Obviously, I want some pedestrians or rather laboratory workers walking around. I'm thinking probably ancient warfare NPCs and also villagers. But we'll see when we get there because there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities here. I'm going to get started on this thing here. What will be the future large animal storage area. And also I'd like to do the underground sort of, well, not underground, we're all underground, but I'd like to do another layer below this, which is the like power and facilities layer, the layer in which everything to do with powering this place and having lights on and stuff like that is sorted out. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on those two things, and then we'll show you them when we get back. Then we'll go have a look at the houses, which I may or may not have done yet. You'll find out when I cut to them. So I will see you in just a second. All right, well, we are back here now, and I'm going to do the actual dramatic reveal. Let's go through the laboratory. I'm just going to say that I actually accidentally skipped some footage because I unplugged my microphone in between recordings, and that led it to not select the right channel to record the microphone, blah blah blah, behind the curtain stuff. Anyway, you've skipped like one stage of progress, which is the fact that I have sort of populated this place with like laboratory-esque looking villages. So let's go in order of what's been done. The first thing is, if we open this door, go downstairs, you find, I'm going to go ahead and fly actually because it's easier. You find this grungy looking area, and I'm only going to show you this much because it's kind of like a teaser for next week, but really it's just, you know, it's just that there. The problem is that there's a bunch of messy machines over there, and I don't like people showing people unfinished things that aren't going to be finished this episode, apart from, you know, those houses we talked about earlier, because there is no way I'm doing them now. Well, down here is the maintenance shaft. There's going to be a lot of maintenance stuff there. And this is, I guess, strictly speaking, unfinished, contrary to what I was saying a second ago. And just like every other hole in this game, I fall down it every time I talk to anyone about it. So, next up on the right, oh, just ignore this button. We're going to get to it, and this thing on the ceiling, but not right now. Over here is the cold storage area. There is nothing in any of these boxes yet, but eventually there will be storage of all the creatures that we have here in the actual storage pens, because I figured it's sensible to have a physical and live backup. I guess like a data backup these would be, because they're just stored numbers. Oh gosh, thank you very much for surprising me, Mr. Librarian. And over here are the large cages. Now these large cages are set up a little bit differently to the previous cages. Firstly I've given them dirt on the floor, but I figured out a way to give them dirt on every single floor, and I may change the other cages down here to match. Giving them dirt on every single floor and tiles on the roof, and that is by using carpenter blocks basically. I'll go and have a look. So this is carpenter blocks. It's actually all textured for dirt, and the bottom side is textured for tiles, which well, it gives this effect. And also, because they're carpenter blocks, they're all able to self-illuminate using glowstone, which is a lot nicer. It means I can use a lot less lots of emeralds, use a lot less obtrusive lighting, and I'm not a big fan of obtrusive lighting, as we will see in a second. So yes, this is for storing large creatures. There's quite a few things I want to put in here, as I talked about earlier, but so far they're empty, and they will be populated, and our librarians are going around checking that everything's okay. It's a weird dark patch here. Is it going to go away if I... No? Okay, well I guess that's just there then. This cage is where we keep the darkness. What is it, like 2010 band? I don't know years. Okay, let's then go ahead and show you over here where I have populated this room with, firstly, creatures. There is a villager in this pen. Creatures in this pen are rams and deer, and I've put a fir tree in here because I wanted trees that were tall enough to sort of traverse both levels, but unfortunately I can only grow one in this area, so it's a shame because I thought a couple would have been nice. Maybe I'll have a go again at making a jungle, like a big full-size jungle wood tree, but we'll see. The other side is bamboo, and the bottom of this cage is pigs and boar, because I don't know, it seemed nice. This was the room I decided to put mud in for some reason, although this isn't actual mud, it's just carpenter blocks, because actual mud, I guess because it's slightly less than a whole block, the pigs fall through, and that was weird. Like, they were completely black, untextured pigs hanging out in the mud, which it's something that pigs would do, but I just didn't like it. I've also put coral in here, which provides firstly some lighting, and there's also actual lighting at the back. but also I've put algae and it just looks a little bit more alive. And the same thing over here, which I've put coral, ivy, and not ivy, algae, coral and algae and some lighting, and it just looks a lot better. Soon we'll populate that with creatures, but not for now. I'm gonna collect more creatures as we go on with the series. I'll probably have a little section in each episode, and we'll come and put them in. I don't know. We'll see what I have time for and the energy for. But I'm trying to push this guy. I wasn't trying to beat inside of him. I was trying to push him off the ledge. But apparently he's contented to stay there. Yeah, we'll probably have a little section where I go and collect some creatures and stick them in here, but maybe not. So we'll see. Or maybe I'll just show you it when it's all finished and full, which I guess would not be very like YouTubery. It would just be me playing Minecraft and telling you about it. So this is bunnies and birds and stuff like that. Stuff that could escape from most normal cages. And I rather like it. This is kind of like a magical forest-esque thing. And maybe I'll put some other magical creatures in here eventually. These are all from the Twilight Forest apart from... No, actually, these are all from the Twilight Forest, so that's why it feels magic-y. And there is this great wood tree. I don't know if it's going to grow, but it's there anyway. Last thing that needs to be shown is... Oh, yeah, the button. I love the button. Let's go see the button. It's over here. It's a little button. Now, the purpose of this button is actually for a later episode. It's absolutely my favourite thing that we've done the entire series, which is a bit strange because it's just really a button. But what you do is you hit the button, and then you fall through the ceiling and hit yourself on the way and turn up exactly where you were. And I'll just do it again, just a couple times more for fun. And you just, there you go, wonderful. Do a bit of damage, do a bit of pointless travel, and I'll show you above so you can see what it looks like. It's just the floor sort of folds out. Oh, no, village didn't do it. Good. The floor folds out, drops you into this little chamber, and you fall back into the same place. In future, this will be a way of traversing to different laboratories because I've decided that I'd like lots of laboratories, similarly themed, but for different things. So yeah, we're going to put in some more laboratories, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a programmable block. I'm going to find a way of setting up, because right now all I got was the fact that I really wanted it to look like this. We're going to set up a system where I can put in a certain number, and that'll take us to a particular floor. And the rationale with having this button you hit is that theoretically you hit this button and like an elevator you're teleported to each floor, but it kind of like dislocates the laboratories from their physical space, if you understand what I mean. It kind of separates off the idea that they are in an actual place, because obviously if I just had a tube or if I used the maintenance shaft or something like that, it would be too easy to connect them to their actual location. Like this is a floor below this one's a floor below that one, where I'd much rather feel like I hit this button and the laboratory rebuilds itself and is there as a completely different thing, as a completely different kind of laboratory. So we'll see how it works. Maybe I'll have some effects after you push this button so it looks like the laboratory really genuinely does rebuild itself. We'll see what happens. For now, I'm really, really contented with this crazy button system. It's all done with the advanced drawbridge block from Tinker's Mechworks, sorry. Right, well, those are all the things that have been changed here. Some of this stuff is not going to be covered till next week. What don't I like about this? Because I've kind of got into the habit of giving you all the things I hate about stuff I've just spent hours doing. So the main thing really is actually just the lights. The lights bother me so much. I mean, they're so noticeable. They're everywhere. And the fact that they're not quite everywhere, well, they're everywhere, but they're also not everywhere. The fact that they're not quite everywhere is also incredibly noticeable. Like I need one here and here and here and then here and then here, all over the ceiling, all over every wall, and I'm just not happy with it. So I might do the thing I talked about with having extra laboratories for the sake of having more places to place lights, or perhaps more places to place this kind of light over here, a carpenter's block with glowstone and then the actual texture on it, so that the light isn't noticeable. So we'll see about doing that next week, but suffice it to say that I'm not a big fan of the Ender.io wireless lighting, and maybe I have done something wrong, and maybe there's a way of painting these or hiding them in some better way. For now, I'll just tell you that I'm not a fan, and we'll do something next week to try and fix that. So, this is this laboratory, and I think we've caught up with all the stuff that I previously recorded then lost, like I mentioned to you. So, I'm going to have to say goodbye for this episode. I'm sorry we didn't get around to the villages. We will at some point, but I think this makes like at least 4 episodes where I've said we will do them and not actually done them. So, we will get to them at some point. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below if you've got any ideas, questions, or suggestions. Otherwise, I will see you next time.